Have you ever wondered how many people in your state are actually from your state? This is an important subject to a lot of people. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to The World According to Briggs. Today we're going native. We are looking at the states with the most born and bred residents. On this channel, we get a lot of comments from people claiming to be locals from wherever, and they always say something along the lines of, "Don't move here, we don't want you, we're full." They act like the state is theirs and theirs only. If you're one of those people and you don't live in one of the states on this list, you're fighting a losing battle, and chances are you aren't even from the state you're trying to dissuade people from moving to. This video has the top 10 states with the highest percentage of born and bred residents. Our next video will be the states with the least born and bred residents. Now, I can tell you right now, we have some states in this country that only have around 25% born and bred. I was kind of shocked by that. That'll be on the next list. But this video is about the state with the most people that were born and raised there. This video's stats came from the US Census Annual Community Survey. They have it out every year. It's really interesting if you're a stat nerd like I am. All right, let's take a look at the states with the most born and bred residents. Number 10, Kentucky. Kentucky has a whole lot of locals. And that's because they either can't afford to move or they have an ankle bracelet from the court that tells them they can't leave the state. That's my opinion, at least. The population in 2019 was 4,467,000. The born in the state residents were a little over 3 million, giving them 68% of their population being born and raised. Residents that were born in other states, that's about 26.57%, and born in a foreign country in Kentucky, that's only about 4.4% of their population. Which, if you've ever met anyone from Kentucky, you already know they're probably relieved to hear that number's that low. Number 9, West Virginia. The Mountain State is a great state, and I could see why no one would really want to leave there. I mean, sure, opportunity isn't the greatest there. They don't have a lot of jobs, so I'm sure more and more people are moving out these days. But for a long time, people just kind of stayed put in West Virginia. The 2019 population was 1,792,000. Now, I keep saying 2019 because, like I've said in other videos, 2020 numbers are a little screwed up because of the pandemic, so we just kind of stick with 2019 numbers on a lot of these videos. Anyway, moving on. The born in the state residents is about 1,228,000, giving them about 68.54% of the population being born and raised in West Virginia. Born in other U.S. states is about 29.15%, and born in a foreign country is only 1.6%. Now, that's even lower than Kentucky by about over half. Weird. Number 8, Alabama. If you ever go to Alabama or meet someone from Alabama, you'll see that they're very proud of this state. I've always got that vibe like it's an exclusive club that they're in. You know, that's how they feel about Alabama. Like they're in this special club and, you know, whatever. It's like a club nobody else wants to be in, but they're happy to be there. Alabama has just over 5 million residents in the 2020 census, but we're kind of looking at things from the 2019 numbers. And in 2019, they had 4.9 million residents. Of those almost 5 million residents, 3,394,000 were born and raised in Alabama, giving them 69.24%, and born in other U.S. states was 1.2 million residents, about 26% of the population. And if you look at people that came from other countries, it's about 3.5% of the population. Number 7, Iowa. For many decades, a reliable stat for farming and rural type states in the Midwest like Iowa has been that the rural communities are almost entirely born and raised in the state, with a few, maybe migrant workers or whatever, also taking up a small percentage, and the cities is where you get people from other states and things like that. Well, that's not as much a thing anymore with internet and people working from home. A lot of people are moving to these rural towns in Iowa and other states like that. So the numbers are starting to shift a little bit. In 2019, the population of Iowa was 3,155,000. The born and bred in the state were about 2.1 million, which is about 69.7% of the population. And born in other states was about 23.9% of the population. And born in a foreign country was about 5.6% of the population. Number 6, Wisconsin. Now, this one's no surprise. Wisconsin has a reputation of people just staying in the state. They have this weird stat about people that leave to go to college always seem to come back. Like the highest percentage, I forget the exact number, but the highest percentage of any state, when their kids go off to college, they always come back either to just find a job in Wisconsin or run a family business, things like that. It's also a great place to raise a family, and it helps if you like beer and cheese. The 2019 population of Wisconsin was 5.8 million residents. Of that, about 4,129,000 were born in the state. Breaks down to about 70.9% of the population. Born in other U.S. states was 1.3 million, which is about 23% of the population. And born in a foreign country is 5%. Number 5, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a great state with a bunch of born and bred. I've never had the experience of someone from Pennsylvania actually, saying don't move here like you get from Colorado or Idaho or even Texas. Pennsylvania, they are very welcoming and very good people, especially the rural parts. The rural parts are very much born and bred, but they're willing to let you move in and not give you a hard time, happy to have you. And it's beautiful, so you can't beat that. The 2019 population of Pennsylvania was 12,800,000, and their born and bred residents, that was about 9.1 million of them. So that breaks down to about 71.3%. Born in other states that moved to Pennsylvania and called it their own, 2.5 million, which is about 19.5%. And born in a foreign country, they got a good amount compared to some of the other states, 7% born in other countries. Now, as far as the rural part being just nothing but born and bred, I shouldn't say nothing, but they got a high percentage of their rural residents being born and bred. I don't know how much longer that's going to go with people just flooding out of New York City and New York State. A lot of them are heading to Pennsylvania and to the rural areas. They could work from home and they're close enough to get to New York City if they need to go in for meetings and things like that. So we'll see. Number 4, Mississippi. Now, this should be no shocker. I mean, the only people that really want to live there are the people that were born and raised there. Then, of course, you have people that can't afford to leave or they've been lost in a swamp for a couple of years. Mississippi has bad stats all across the board, except their high school graduation rate in a lot of counties, I'd say most of the counties, is pretty good, strangely enough. In 2019, the population of Mississippi was just under 3 million with 2.9 million residents. And of that, the born and bred in Mississippi was 2.1 million, which breaks down to about 71.4%. Born in other states, you're looking at about 764,000, which is about 25.6%. And the foreign born is 2.15. Again, this is just how Mississippi is. They don't have a lot of foreign people living there. Number 3, Ohio. Ohio's another one of those states where the residents really don't like to leave too often. Ohio's seen some hard times over the decades, but the people seem to want to stay there and, I don't know, maybe work it out or something. Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus all have really high percentages when it comes to born and bred residents. As a matter of fact, Cleveland is number 2 in the country when it comes to major cities. The population of Ohio in 2019 was 11,689,000 residents. Of that, the born and bred was 8.7 million, which was about 74.7% of the population. Born in other states was about 2.2 million, which was about 19.6% of the population. And foreign born is 4.7. Number 2. Michigan. Michigan's a great state, beautiful, tons of nature, great cities. The downside is most people from outside of a state really just focus on what you hear in the news when they think about a state. And when you think about Michigan, you hear about Detroit and Flint. So I'm sure to a degree that has kept a lot of people away from moving in there. And they've had people pouring out, and a majority of the people living there have been there for decades, born and bred. Large majority. Michigan has turned the corner in recent years. They got a long way to go, but I think within the next couple decades, they'll start drawing in more people, not just from other states, but from other countries as well. Detroit's moving in the right direction. Now, if they could just get the Flint water thing out of the news, the state will be in a lot better shape, especially when it comes to reputation. In 2019, Michigan had 9.9 million residents, and of that, about 7.6 million were born and bred, giving them about 76.24% of the population being born and raised in Michigan. Born in other states was about 1.5 million, putting them at about 15.9%, and born in other countries was 7%. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There's a link below. Go by, check it out, watch a couple videos, subscribe, whatever. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Louisiana. The Pelican State is a lot like Ohio in the respect that they have a couple major cities with a large majority of the population being born and bred. Those two cities would be New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Sure, New Orleans gets a ton of people that have maybe vacation homes or obviously tourism, but like 85% of the people that live in New Orleans were born and raised there. Baton Rouge isn't too far behind. Then you get into the Cajun people who have been there for generations, and they tend not to leave unless it's for work, like say to Texas or Mississippi, but they always come back and their residence is always in Louisiana. Obviously, I'm going on averages here. Please don't give me some one-off because you know some Cajun guy that moved to Arkansas and you know how it goes. All in all, Louisiana just sucks as a state, so you would think logically these people would be trying to get out of there. No, they stay. They're one of the top states in poverty. Crime is horrible. Opportunity is next to nothing. The weather ain't great. Bugs are horrible. And crime. Just all the things that should drive people out of the state, it doesn't. The 2019 population of Louisiana was 4.6 million residents, and of that, the born and bred was 3.6 million, giving them 77.6 of the population being born and bred. Born in other states was about 808,000, which comes out to about 17.3%, and foreign born, 4.23%. Louisiana is a lot of interesting in a lot of different categories. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now stay tuned. Next couple days, I will have the least born and bred states. All right, everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.